and start your future in broadcasting today.
Hello, and we are here live at the Chicago Children's Hospital, Chicago Marriott Oakbrook pre-draft party. I'm joined now by Patrick Delaney and
Andy Park.
Gentlemen, are you guys excited for today's event?
Yes, I am.
I'm excited. We're going to see who the Bears going to pick. I'm expecting trades today. What about you?
I think they're going to stay at 3 and take Jamal Adams.
Stay at 3, take Jamal Adams.
I think that's a very safe pick. I think also the temptation is going to be high for them to take a quarterback, knowing their struggles in decades.
And
Yes.
also, Josh, I wonder how many quarterbacks are going to be picked in the first round.
I'm going to go with 3 with a chance at 4.
Oh,
I see at least 2 early, and then a couple of guys sneaking back in the late into the first round, try to get somebody else like a Patrick Mahomes, maybe a Deshaun Kaiser.
Yeah. I don't see Kaiser going in the first round. I see him early second round.
That's fair. That's a fair criticism considering how their season went last year.
Right.
I just look at the system that he's coming from and his body type, and I see with a lot of the other guys there's questions, and I feel like he checks some of those other boxes that maybe you might not have gotten to see fulfilled on the field. So.
well, the quarterback from North Carolina, Mitchell
Trubisky.
I don't see him going to the Bears.
I
see him most likely probably the Jets.
If the Bears don't select at 3, that's because they traded with Cleveland.
That's a fair assumption.
Okay. That's the only way I don't see the Bears taking Jamal Adams.
I see them going defensive line or secondary with that first pick. They need some secondary help. Their front seven has been pretty stout. It was belied by the fact that the secondary was so porous, which is why I say Jamal Adams, in my mind, would be the optimal pick for them.
Yeah, defensive back is needed, certainly.
So what about the depth at the wide receiver class?
I think we can hit that in the middle rounds.
With losing Alshon Jeffrey, that's going to be something that they...
Third or fourth round, maybe, yeah. Third or fourth round, we're looking at wide receivers. I want to ask you two gentlemen, is there a possibility that the Bears can draft a quarterback?
Oh, the Bears will definitely draft a quarterback. It's just when.
As a Bears fan, I'm hoping it's early. There's always success stories of guys later on in the draft, but I think when you're in this position, you kind of have to throw it on the table.
See, I like Peterman from Pittsburgh.
I've heard a lot of talk about him.
Okay, and right now his stock is going up, so he might be available for us in the second round, but I think that might be still a little too early. I'm looking at him in the third.
My choices, personally, would be Deshaun Watson. I love the kid's makeup. I love his body of work. And if we can't get him, Patrick Mahomes. I like his it factor. He reminds me of a young gunslinger, a young Brett Favre, who, as a Bears fan, I got tired of seeing him kill us year after year, so I would like to have that on our side.
Is there a possibility that Deshaun Watson get picked top 10, one of the top 10 picks here?
Definitely.
Yeah, there's definitely a good possibility. If not, he will be gone by 12.
I think that if he's not in the top 5, his slide, I don't know about the middle rounds. See, I think somebody's going to have to jump up to get him early, or he's going to slide, and we're going to see him sitting in that green room a la Aaron Rodgers. So that's something that's all you got to watch out for, because a lot of times when that slide starts, when it falls, it's tough to predict.
Yeah. See, the way I see it, I have Arizona taking a quarterback.
And they've been leaked the most to Deshaun Watson, as we mentioned.
Correct. So that's why, and I think they're 12 or 13, so I'm going to go with them no matter what. He'll be gone by then.
So here's one for you guys. Is there any way that the Cleveland Browns select any player other than Myles Garrett?
No,
I don't see it.
Even with their – now, I spoke as a Bears fan on our quarterback situation. Theirs is much more dire than ours. How would you still say that there's no way they pass on Garrett?
There's no way they can pass on Garrett, and then what they need to do after that is make that trade that I was talking about to move up to the third spot, and then they'll take Trubisky before the Jets can grab him at 6.
He's the classic guy that worries me in the draft, because when you have somebody coming from a school, he's not from a low-level program. This is a established power program, and yet he only has 13 starts.
Yeah.
And they didn't necessarily light the world on fire, so I kind of get nervous around these pre-draft build-up guys that come out of nowhere, because where was it before?
Well, so, yeah, I see where you're going on that, but I'm still sticking with my thing.
Okay.
That Trubisky will be gone early. I think if he's still there at 6, I think the Jets will take him.
I can't argue with you.
They have not hit quarterback situation in free agency like everybody thought they would.
Well, we got some experts saying that Christian McCaffrey might go before Leonard Fournette. So what's your take on that, Jim?
Reggie Bush Part 2.
Reggie Bush Part 2?
I like what he can do, but his frame worries me.
Yeah.
He will never be a carry the mail down after down guy. He's going to have to get some breaks. He's going to have to get split out wide, put in the slot, things of that nature, a la Reggie Bush. And maybe Reggie Bush's career is going to be a good template so that he doesn't go through the same over. We're going to send it over to Brett right now. He's meeting with Tom and Brent.
All right, everybody. I'm joined here live by Brent Novoselsky, president of the NFLPA's Retired Players Chicago chapter. We've got some noise going on in the background as we get ready for the start of the NFL draft coming up in just over a half an hour. Also with Brent, I'm joined by Tom Serpento, the Director of Public Relations. I'll start with you, Brent. You're a former Chicago Bear and former Minnesota Viking. When it came to when you were in college, what was draft night kind of like for you?
Well, I went to an Ivy League school. I wasn't drafted, so it was very quiet. I actually got signed after the draft.
Okay.
So, but what I'm going through now, my son plays at Western Michigan. So he's got a couple of his good buddies that are going to get drafted. One of them being Corey Davis.
Okay.
And the other one being Taylor Moton, who he backed up. So he's actually going to be at a draft party with Taylor and celebrating hopefully third round, maybe fourth round for Taylor. He's a heck of a prospect, a real big kid, and they're all really good kids. It's fun to see it.
I know you guys do a lot of exciting stuff. This whole event, benefiting Lurie's Children's Hospital, getting a lot of these guys here. Can you talk about just a little bit of what you guys do in the Retired Professional Football Players of Chicago?
Yeah, it's kind of exciting. You see the draft, and this is kind of the before their career. We're the after the career. So we take care of guys after they're done playing. And one of the things that we like to do, because look, Chicago is a great sports town, great football town. We have a foundation that we set up to help kids. We basically give 2 scholarships a year out to a boy and a girl, 4-year scholarship, and then we also give out youth football grants. We help underprivileged areas that have football programs. We get them equipment, and Tom has really taken over that, and
it's a wonderful program. We actually have brought in such sponsors as Home Depot. They actually joined us this past year, in addition to the $1,500 that we give to our 4 recipients for the youth grant programs. Home Depot gives an additional $3,000 towards their primary school or their league, towards their facility improvement. And I can tell you, over the course of this past year, the schools that we've helped, the leagues that we've helped, Harrison Park down in the inner city areas, over in Morgan Park, a group out in East Aurora, but anybody who has a genuine need, and when you can see the impact that has, it's beyond the imagination until you actually stand and you witness the expressions on the face, the joy that comes from having a little bit of a relief, but at the same time, showing great support. We bring a ton of players out for these events. I would recommend for your viewing audience, go to our Facebook page, go to the Retired Professional Football Players of Chicago Facebook page, and scroll back about 6 or 8 months and look at all the wonderful things we do. And I think you'll be very much impressed. We, like Brent said, as former players, it's all about giving back, and that's our job.
Now, you just talked about some of the great things that the organization itself does. What made you guys personally want to get involved with this organization, especially at the level that you guys are?
Well, the NFLPA is actually the union. So when I started in 1988, the strike was in 87. So for 5 years of the 7 that I played, we actually didn't have a union. We just certified. And that's when Plan B free agency came about. So it's always interested me the collective bargaining agreement and the process, and we are really the only reach back to the league that the guys have after they retire. And we're the only union, I think, in the history of unions to actually have the retired players get enhanced benefits after they were done playing. So we try to get in the active players' ears and let them know that one day you're going to be us, and that you want to make sure you take care of us because you're standing on our shoulders. And they've done a nice job with that. It doesn't hurt that they're getting a lot more money than we got, and their benefits are a lot better. But it's something that's always intrigued me. And we've got a lot of guys that are in bad shape. They're hurting, with the concussions, with the physical ailments that they have. And we all have them, but after you spent 7 years and then had 8 more that I played, 15 years of football, banging your head, and the rules weren't the same back then. We led with our heads, and I went through a lot of helmets and a lot of face masks, and it tends to affect you not positively as you get older. So all the stuff that's going on now, I think it's all positive, and the kids now are phenomenal athletes. We joke about the fact that they don't hit in practice, and it kind of shows in the quality of the games, but it all changes. It all comes around. These kids are phenomenal athletes. I think we were better football players.
Well, you know what? That's almost an arguable point because Brent actually has a son who is entering his final season, or maybe has 2 more.
That's what I'm on right now.
Michigan.
So
and last year he had an opportunity to play in the Cotton.
Okay, cool.
When they're a beautiful season with Coach Fleck, but he says the game is different. But back in the '80s, the hitting was brutal. It's a violent game to begin with, but when you walk around, you've got arthritis in your arms, your shoulders, your hands. It doesn't matter whether you played on a collegiate level or a professional level. The aches and pains are still the same. But going back to his point about all the great things about bringing the younger guys in, like who will be here tonight, we're going to have a whole host of younger players. As many as 30 former players might be here tonight, but a great majority of them are the younger guys that are coming up. And like Brent said, it's the job of the Players Association and the charitable side, the foundation on the RPFBC side, to get them involved so they can then carry on that legacy and move on down the road.
Now, as I mentioned, we're here at the Oak Brook Marriott, Oak Brook, Illinois. Could you guys just talk about the event that's going on here a little bit more tonight?
Well, the event is the Lurie Hospital event. Look, if you've been in Chicago, and I'm Chicago born and raised, and the Lurie Hospital is phenomenal. We've done a bunch of different charitable events there. Mike Wilson works here at the Marriott. Mike is a former player. He's one of our great members. And Mike has been just absolutely phenomenal in allowing us to come in here and do our meeting here, and then also be able to do some good things for the kids. And anytime you do anything for kids, especially sick kids, every week we used to visit hospitals. And these kids, they don't ask for it. They're just given a bad lot. And you know what? These kids are the greatest things ever. The best times I ever had was visiting these kids. It's heartbreaking, but they really have, a spirit that's phenomenal. I don't care what they've been through. They're fighters. And
it's inspirational. It's beyond inspiration.
It's the least we can do. Absolutely.
Some of the guys that you're going to be talking to, and you could look forward to this, Tim Terrell, who is a former Atlanta Falcon and Buffalo Bill, Pittsburgh Steeler. He also is from the Chicagoland area. He's been a longtime member of the Players Association. When you get him up here in a few minutes, ask him about his hitting and what he had to endure. But more importantly, ask him what he's doing now, because I think he'll be entertaining for you. He's one of our favorites, our absolute favorites. But he has a lot of great involvement with the Veterans Associations and the Veterans of Foreign Wars here in Chicago, and he gets us motivated. So I would suggest you take a few minutes and talk to some of these other guys too.
We'll have some more of those names coming up. Last question for you guys. It is draft night. Do you have a hunch as to where the Bears are going tonight?
So with the history of what the Bears have done, the prayer is that they don't screw that first-round pickup again. There's a couple safe picks. I would rather have them take a safe pick than go out there and try to get somebody that just doesn't fit it. Get somebody that's going to be a brick in the foundation of your program. Don't get somebody flashy that you cross your fingers on. And
as a lifelong Packer supporter, I can tell you, Chicago, please do what you always do, which makes it so much more fun for the rest of the other teams that are out there. Do what you always do, and the rest of the league is going to be just fine. Go Pack.
All right, we're going to throw it back. Want to thank, again, that's Brent Novoselsky and Tom Serpento, the president and director of public relations for the Chicago chapter of the NFLPA's retired players. Make sure you check them out online. As Tom said, you can find them on Facebook, the Retired Professional Football Players of Chicago. That is also the name of their website, guys. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much.
Appreciate the time.
Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Brett, Tom, and Brett. We are back here, Josh Buckhalter, along with Eddie Parker and Patrick Delaney at the Chicago Children's Hospital, Chicago Marriott Oak Brook pre-draft party. And guys, we got a nice little insight into the thought process.
That's right.
Other fans
and
opposition.
Opposition. Well, Tom, he's a Packer guy. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm an Indianapolis Colts guy. I'm out of the closet with that one. But hey, it is what it is. But let's go back to this draft, man. It's an exciting day. for one thing, I'm seeing another the Bears. One expert got the Bears picking Marshawn Lattimore to take on that one. Another cornerback.
I point to something that I told you guys earlier about their secondary really undermining a lot of the good work that their front seven was doing. So I think that just speaks to that they need help in the secondary.
They need help in the secondary.
Well, not only do they need help, they let Tracy Porter go, who was one of their starting cornerbacks last year. And we only had 10 interceptions all of last season, one of the lowest in the leagues. So we need a cornerback or a safety. So I would not mind Marcus Lattimore there.
The only qualm with it is that the draft is deeper at corner than safety.
Exactly.
So if you're in this primo spot to get a game changer who, by all accounts, is a great leader in the locker room, is a guy who's very intelligent on the field and plays the game the right way and can be a pillar of your secondary and your defense as a whole, something that Chicago has not seen since the days of maybe Mike Brown even. We'll go back that far. So I feel like that would probably be a better position in that guy can also be the quarterback of your secondary and line people up. And for a corner, it's a little bit more difficult. You're out there on the island. That guy, you want the more athletic guy. And if you're not sold 100% that this guy's going to be the next prime time, then I think you might want to go with the more heady player who can have a better overall impact on your defense.
Well, you want a leader.
Yes.
And that's the one thing the defensive backs have not had.
Yes.
So that's why I've been so high on Jamal Adams. If you're following mine and Eddie's show every Monday on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
Yeah, thanks for the plug. We'll take.
I've been stressing Jamal Adams for about 5 weeks? 6 weeks?
And I've been stressing Jonathan Allen. I'm a defensive line fan, and not only that, the Bears need it. They need a defensive lineman, and Jonathan Allen, I think he's a perfect pick for defense. But hey,
I would argue that point.
Okay.
With the defensive line.
Yeah.
Along with the interior of the offensive line was their strongest points.
Okay.
I know we're talking about a team that was 3-13.
Exactly.
Also, the defensive ends were hurt most of the year.
They was hurt most of the year.
One or the other one. But the defensive tackle, we only had one that played well all season.
Yeah.
True enough.
So
you pick a young Jonathan Allen, and
I think
he's been healthy his college career.
The third overall pick.
The whole key to me is our front seven is in better shape than our back four.
Exactly.
I can't disagree with that.
My ideal scenario, as I mentioned to you guys, once again, we are here at the Children's Hospital of Chicago Marriott Oakbrook pre-draft party. Joshua Calton, Eddie Parker, and Patrick Delaney. My ideal situation would be for the Bears to take Jamal Adams at 3 and find a way to trade back into the latter half of the first round and get Patrick Mahomes. I really like the kid. I know he comes from Texas Tech, and there's going to be that stigma of that air raid offense on him. However, you're not taking this guy to start. Whoever you pick is not going to be starting this year.
Right.
Under perfect circumstances. So take somebody who you can develop who already has that attitude of I'm going to go and get you.
Okay, so what if they don't pick Jamal Adams? What if they pick Malik Hooker?
I'm fine with that too.
You fine with that?
Ohio State. He goes after the ball more than Jamal Adams does. Adams is a hitter. Mm-hmm. He will help out on our defensive run, which was 27th in the league last year, versus our pass, which is 12th. So that's why I kind of want Adams, because where we were hurting is where he helps us.
Right.
We also were hurting in the run game. Again, I go back to their front seven being, in my eyes, a perceived strength in that at the end of games, if you're not converting first downs and scoring points on offense, if the corners aren't taking anybody out and getting fourth downs for you to get off the field, you're going to get gassed and you're going to get gashed.
That's right.
So that being said, I do like what you're saying, that they're going to have to address that issue one way or another. And I think with getting Adams, you get somebody who helps in run defense.
That's right.
And his intelligence and leadership will allow him to get your pass defense set. So it's a twofold impact in my eyes.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, I'm still looking at the defensive lineman. I'm a big fan of these guys. Looking at Solomon Thomas from Stanford.
He's a bit of a tweener.
I see Solomon Thomas going to the 49ers.
To the 49ers.
He fits better with what they want to do.
Right.
In terms of...
Heck,
and he's another defensive end. do we need another defensive end right away?
What would make you guys think that the 49ers won't pick a quarterback?
That is also in play. But again, I look at them kind of in our same situation where they have so many holes that if you're going to get a quarterback, you might as well fill up some other with some primo talent and then jump back in.
See, I would not be surprised if San Francisco trades away their pick.
Before, yes.
Yeah.
And get extra picks.
Yeah.
Now, I've been hearing some chatter that the Browns they've already picked, they're going to pick Myles Garrett. Now, let's just say that they decide to go ahead and get Mitchell Trubisky.
Yeah.
That means that now Myles Garrett falls to the 49ers. Do you see a scenario in which the 49ers allow Myles Garrett to get past them?
No.
I don't see them picking Myles Garrett because, 49ers, they need a quarterback. And
so you do see a situation if he gets them, he will get past them.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. You don't.
I'm really with Pat on this. That if he is not taken by San Francisco, it'll be because they traded out of that pick.
That's right.
Else who wants it. Yeah. Now, let's assume he does get past them.
Okay.
Do you see the Chicago Bears pulling the trigger on that deal?
If he falls to the Bears?
Yes.
I see the Bears taking.
Yeah.
He is the best player on the board.
Okay.
Pure talent across the board.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And that's what the Bears really need to do. Is every time they have a draft pick, take the best player on the board.
When you're in their situation, I couldn't agree with you more. Eddie, you said that you are a Colts fan.
I'm a Colts fan. That's right.
There are many mock drafts that have your Colts selecting LSU's Leonard Fournette.
Leonard Fournette. I'll take it. I mean, the Colts fan will take it. Indianapolis will take it.
Now, the last time you guys got it back out of LSU.
Yeah, but Joseph Adai. The year, his rookie year, we won the Super Bowl. I mean, the Colts won the Super Bowl. So hey,
you're sitting by two Chicago Bear fans.
Choose your words carefully. You were gifted a Super Bowl. It's different.
But there's also a possibility that the Colts might pick Derek Barnett, from Tennessee.
I see him going 4 overall.
Okay.
That's where I have him. I have him going to Jacksonville.
You got to go.
Really?
Yeah. Jacksonville needs to address their running game. That would really help their passing game and Blake Bortles too.
Yeah.
Because if you notice, they did not address their quarterback situation that they said they were going to do.
That's true.
So in other words, they're saying, Blake Bortles, you're our guy. So what can we do to help you out? Well, let's get you a running back so that way you're not facing a blitz every time.
And he has a bright future with the Jacksonville Jaguars also. So, yeah.
That would be a solid pick definitely for them. They definitely have to get that running game figured out. They tried to do
the
two-headed monster with T.J. Yeldon and Chris Ivory, and that was just running into a brick wall.
Yeah.
But was that the running backs, or is that the offensive line?
I'll say it's offensive line.
It was basically a combination of both, to be honest with you. The defenses didn't respect those running backs. And if I was a defensive coordinator in the NFL, I wouldn't respect them either until they prove to me that they can do it on a consistent basis year in, year out.
Yeah, can't argue with that.
When you have Blake Bortles on the center, they're going to load him stop the run anyway. Go ahead and hit with the pass.
That's right.
So every year in the draft, there's a run on a position. Who do you see? We'll start with you, Eddie. Who do you see? What position do you see having that run happen first?
Well, I see the defensive line.
Okay.
I see the defensive line having a run.
Pat? Same question.
It is a good question. There's a lot of talent out there this year on that defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
I would have to say the defensive line right now is the strength.
The defensive line.
I'm going to go oppo of you and say that because the defensive line is so deep, there will be a run on offensive line in which there is a dearth of talented ones in this year's crop. So I can see them making a run. Once it starts, then everybody's going to have to jump on.
Okay.
And right now we're going to throw it on over to Jason Carter. Jason.
All right, what's up, guys? I'm with Tim Terrell. Tim Terrell over here. He had a 7-year football career. Allegedly.
I was unconscious most of it. So.
NIU graduate, or NIU athletic. Still back home and rocking the Chicago Blackhawks. Are they playing tonight?
They went 4-0. Or was that 0-4? Yeah, they didn't win I think they were in the playoffs, so the last 8 years they went to Stanley Cup and won.
don't know how many times, but
a couple.
Yeah, but fun, exciting, man. Yeah. What the heck you giving me that dig for?
Hey, you had to wear the shirt. You had to wear the shirt.
I'm still a supporter. I'm an athletic supporter. Okay, can I be an athletic supporter?
Yeah, you're definitely a supporter of Chicago Blackhawks and a supporter with the retired players of Chicago as well. What made you want to join this group and be part of this?
Well, we have an opportunity to be a big influence in the community. So you can use the leverage as a former NFL player really to just make the world a better place. And so we ended up, when I was a president a few years ago, and we formed our own 501c3, which allows us to raise money for local kids' scholarships. So we fund 8 $12,000 scholarships, and we identify 3 youth football teams in Chicago, and we pick them, and we give 8 $12,000 scholarships and then 3 youth football teams. So, and we do it through a raffle. We do raffles and we do a golf outing. Is how we raise our funds for the most part. And then it's really then it becomes kind of a networking thing for the guys, helping guys help themselves, helping guys with careers, and we do a lot of different things, and just trying to figure out ways with having that opportunity to play in the league that long, and just being just a positive influence in the community,
Yeah, definitely. And, you see a lot of guys are here, especially supposed to have another one in the interview, but some friends pop up. What's it like seeing all these guys a couple times a year and hanging out with them and sharing old stories?
Well, from day one, from the minute I even had an opportunity to sign a contract in the NFL as a free agent. I was a quarterback in college, and I made it in the NFL as a fullback special teams guy, which was really unheard of. But that whole thing, I remember from day one, this is unbelievable. And then actually by my second year, I was our captain for the Falcons. We played the '85 Bears, so I would go out for the flip of the coin for a lot of these. And the one biggest exciting part in my life, I think, was when we played the '85 Bears, and it was Walter Payton, Jimbo Covert, Sean Gale, Gary Fensick, and Mike Singletary. And I'm out there, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing out here? I couldn't believe it. But it was it's just such a thrill to kind of live out a dream. You just couldn't imagine that happening. When it does, it really, from that day 30 plus years ago to today, I love seeing the guys. I see them a lot more than just a couple times a month. I'm involved with a lot of the guys. I'm involved with a lot of charities, so I invite them to these charities, and we're invited to a lot of charities and events. And again, it's just, for me, I love it. I've just been so blessed, and that's what we try to do, is kind of carry it forward and share it and help other kids and help those who want help with really almost anything.
Yeah, and we were talking off camera that you are involved a lot with veterans. You care to talk about that?
Yeah. I just have a passion for my freedom. I mean, I know that a lot of the things that I was able to do, because you told me you were a veteran, freedom, there's a price to be paid, and I realize it, and I try to realize it every day. And I'm very involved. Got involved with the VA hospital here in Chicago, in Hines actually, and then the veterans. Any veterans, we have. I'm involved with we started our second annual golf outing to raise money for veterans, local veterans. So we fund them, and we see where the money goes and that type of thing. But ultimately, it was just that. It was that when you see what goes on around the world and why we have such a great country, it is because the freedoms that we have and that other people died for. And I just simply don't take it lightly. I'm just so thankful, and I think about it not just every day, but almost every minute of the day. Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, from a veteran, I want to thank you for everything that you do to help us, because it's not easy getting out of the military, and I appreciate all you do as well for us. So thanks, Tim Terrell, for coming on, and guys, back to you.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you very much, Jason. Patrick Delaney, Eddie Parker, myself, Joshua Buchalter here at the Children's Hospital of Chicago Marriott Oakbrook pre-draft party. And fellas, we're sitting here and we're waiting for the draft to start, and I was thinking it might be fun to play a little draft game.
All right.
Okay.
So,
With it.
since it's my idea, I will start off and be the Browns and pick. And I'm going to say, with our first overall pick, the Cleveland Browns select, Miles Garrett.
Miles Garrett.
Wow,
Big shock.
yeah, that was a shock. I like it, though. It really helps them out. They need defensive help. They need to get rush on the quarterback. So
I'll pass to you for the second overall pick. You are the San Francisco 49ers. You are John Lynch.
I am going to take Solomon Thomas.
Solomon Thomas, I like it. An inside-outside guy who can, on third downs, kick on inside, and on first and second, he can be outside and be your edge, your in. I like to push the pocket to team up with Eric Armstead and Forrest Buckner. Yeah, I like that. A solid three linemen.
Solid pick.
The Chicago Bears are on the clock at number 3.
Dun, dun, dun. Jonathan Allen. Jonathan Allen.
Okay.
Bears need it. They need a defensive end.
Can we fire him as a general manager?
He's just not getting the hint. He's just not getting the hint. We're tired of safe in Chicago. We want the splash.
Need Jonathan Allen.
Okay. It would be a help on the defensive run.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a help on the defensive run. But
my thought, as I told you, at number 3, you don't get number 3 often.
Yeah.
I feel like you might need to get someone a little more dynamic.
I'm getting Jonathan Allen.
Who you got for 4 in Jacksonville?
So, I'm taking a long, hard look at our roster, evaluating the picks that we had last year, how our defense I feel is set right now. I'm going to go ahead and make a pick of Leonard Fournette to bolster that run game, because I think that his talent, despite the fact that we might have a less than optimal offensive line, his talent will make up that difference, his style and his youth.
I agree, too. He's an SEC running back. I mean, there's a lot of great running backs coming from the SEC conference. So
the teams would have to worry about 50-50 ball. 50 times running it, 50 times passing it. That's going to help Blake Bortles out 100%.
Yeah.
Instead of them passing it 60-40 like they did last year.
That's right.
Moving on to pick number 5, Tennessee Titans, the pick that they received from L.A. in the trade for Jared Goff.
For Tennessee, I'm going to go Marshawn Lattimore.
Really?
Marshawn Lattimore.
I like it.
It's a surprise pick there. They really don't need a cornerback, but they already have one on one side. I'm saying shut them both down and force teams to run the ball against them.
I could definitely see that. Their pass defense was not spectacular last year, and anytime you can get help, as we were talking about off air, in your defensive backfield, you have to go ahead and jump on that one.
Yeah.
Eddie, New York Jets?
New York Jets. Now selecting Jamal Adams.
Oh! Now he's just doing this to get under our skin. I'm pretty sure that he's doing this simply to get at us.
Jamal Adams. Hey, you need another defensive back because you pretty much lost Del Reeves. Del Reeves is about to go to jail, buddy. And you need help in this. You need help in the safety. In the secondary.
I like the pick for defensive purposes for the Jets, but in my opinion, they got to go offense. They lost one of their best wide receivers, Brandon Marshall. He went to the Giants. Their quarterback situation's up in arms.
Definitely.
Their running back, they have Forte. Their offensive line needs help. That's where I would go. But it's not a bad pick. It really is not. Okay. Jamal Adams, it would be the best player on the board at that time.
That's a fair. All right. So number 7 falls back on me, San Diego Chargers. And with that pick, the San Diego Chargers, I say select Mike Williams out of Clemson. Keenan Allen got hurt last year. It's not the first time that he's missed a big chunk of the season due to injury. Their other guys are solid, less than spectacular, most definitely. Their next best guy, Tyrell Williams, came out of nowhere, but he also got dinged up and maybe is not capable of carrying the load. But either way, you need 2 guys on the outside. Mike Williams is a big guy. Go get the ball so he can help work with Phillip Rivers now, and he can help bring in whoever their next quarterback is in the future when they make that move to L.A.
I like that. I like that pick.
Okay.
All right, with the number 8 pick, I'm going to go a little surprise here. With the players that you guys have taken off my board, I would go with Forrest Lamp. Offensive guard.
Here goes that run I was telling you about.
Yeah.
Protect your quarterback.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes. Cam Newton's my favorite player, and it pained me to see him get beat up like that last year. So I'm definitely I like that pick. That's a solid. It's not going to be the most popular pick probably amongst Panther fans.
Well, everyone's saying they're going running back.
I feel like you can find some.
But I think you can do something later on
with their scheme, how their offense runs. Yes, I agree with you there.
Right. And if Forrest Lamp wasn't available, I would have said Taco Charlton.
Okay.
Put more pressure on the quarterback.
Okay.
Up next, Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, buddy. Loquero, Taco Bell, Taco Carlton from Michigan. The Bengals need a defensive lineman. He has the size. He has the strength. He has, he's the length. I mean, come on. Athletic ability. What more do you want? The Bengals need this guy. They need him because I would say they already have the offense stacked. They got a good offensive line. They got a pretty good running back. They got receivers. They got a great quarterback. Need to get the defensive line straight.
I like that. I think that's a very good pick for them.
It fits their mold. Long, athletic, rangy guys in the Michael Johnson mold. Carlos Dunlap, who's getting older.
Yeah.
I like the pick. That's a very solid pick. It's a very Bengals pick to reinforce the trenches first and then focus on things later. Focus on the outside part positions later. Buffalo Bills, pick number 10. We had a pretty decent season in that they weren't eliminated until the end of the year. They had Sammy Watkins get hurt, LaShawn McCoy get hurt.
Yeah.
But I'm still not going to touch our offensive side.
LaShawn McCoy hurt
not
for a
yet.
year, but
Mike Williams has been taken off the board. That would be the receiver that I would have wanted to pair with Sammy Watkins, get the big body. He's already gone. So with that being said, I say that I'm not really comfortable all the way. However, I can't pass it with a talent such as O.J. Howard. The Bills need a big body to stretch the field, and right now we're going to throw it over to Jason Carter. Jason.
All right, I'm now here with Patrick Brown to my right, a first-time member of the RPF PC. RPF PC, and also have Reggie Smith on my other side. And you guys both career journeymen when it comes to the NFL. And Reggie used to play for my hometown team, the Dallas Cowboys.
Right.
So I want to ask you right now, what was your favorite memory in the NFL?
Oh, well, it was a few, but I played for Tom Landry, and everybody knows his reputation. I mean, he's a pretty consistent guy. And my first year there, I kind of got beat on a swim move, and I turned around and I yelled out a curse word. And as I was face-to-face with him. And that day I thought I was going to get cut. But, he wrapped his arm around me and said, next time don't get beat. So, I survived.
And, Patrick, back to you. I mean, you're obviously, fresh with this organization. What made you want to join the organization out here in Chicago and be part of it?
Yeah, I've been getting a couple of invites. Most of them I couldn't make. This is the first one that really worked for my schedule. And I felt like it was a great opportunity to meet people who have been through similar situations, same roads traveled, really start just talking to guys, sharing our stories, and meeting some people who have been through the same thing.
Yeah, definitely. The draft is tonight. Have you guys been keeping up with what's going on in the draft? Do you have a number one projected? Do you think the Browns are going to screw it up again?
I forget his name already, but I think the story's coming out that they're taking the DN out of Texas A&M. Yep. So I think that's what's going to happen.
You got a guy you're looking out for tonight?
No. Every year I'm amazed how the draft had progressed. I mean, back in my day, somebody yelled out the window and said, "Hey, you got drafted."
I know. I saw a picture of Brett Favre wearing jean shorts back in the day.
Yeah. No, it was. Now it's an event. It's like next to the Super Bowl. So I'm always amazed how that's worked out.
I feel like today kind of reminds me of Election Day, but for guys who just love sports, because all day long you're looking at it, you're waiting to see, like, where's this guy going? What's this guy doing? It's kind of like waiting for the electorals to come in. I feel like waiting to see where all 32 guys go.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And also you got to look at it for the kids coming out right now. This is a lifetime of hard work that's finally paying off here, and the opportunity to do something really special, and it's all going to happen tonight for them.
What's one piece of advice you want to give to somebody getting drafted this evening?
No matter when you're drafted, your job is not guaranteed, regardless. And there's always going to be somebody else coming up in the next class or from another team that wants to take that from you. So just keep that in mind.
All right. That's Patrick Brown, Reggie Smith. Back to you guys.
Jason, Patrick, Reggie. As you can see, the players are here. This is a very good time. Everybody's in a festive mood here at the Children's Hospital of Chicago Marriott Oakbrook pre-draft party. Joshua Buckhalter, Eddie Parker, Patrick Delaney. Gentlemen, we were talking about our own draft. We were as if we were GMs.
That's right.
And I believe our last pick was for Buffalo and O.J. Howard. And I mentioned that since Mike Williams is off the board, to get that big body playmaker, especially a guy down the seams as athletic as him, and he's by far and away the best tight end in this draft. I feel like that would be a solid pick for them at that point.
I like the pick. Howard is definitely the best tight end in the draft.
Yes, he is.
He's going to be a dominant force in years to come. The only thing I heard bad about him is people had to get on him to play hard at times. So
I would argue that with in the system he came from, they didn't throw to the tight end much.
As one scout said, "Show me you love the game."
That's a fair pick, but that's also a question being raised about our quote-unquote first overall pick, Myles Garrett, and that he dogged it on a lot of plays.
Yeah.
So is it fair to question ones and not, if we have one guy going in the first overall pick with that same exact flag, I don't know if you can necessarily knock O.J. Howard when, again, he came out of an offense where they didn't really feature the tight end. But again, in the big game, in the championship game, one of their top threats was O.J. Howard.
Yeah, absolutely good point. But
still,
you can't go wrong with that pick there.
Right.
I mean, Buffalo Bills need a tight end, and it would be a great pick right there for them.
They do. They do.
Next on the clock, the New Orleans Saints picking number 11.
Reuben Foster, inside linebacker, Alabama.
Do the concerns about his character bother you at all?
I don't think New Orleans cares about character.
You
Fair enough.
Here's the thing.
No Saints fans.
Shots fired.
It's a dilute solution, okay? Who knows what he had in his system? They don't know.
Right.
They just said they have a dilute solution.
No, that was for Jabril Peppers. Reuben Foster.
No, he also had a dilute solution.
Yeah,
oh my goodness.
Yeah. I could have sworn. How many players had a diluted sample?
I only heard about the two.
You only heard about two?
Okay.
How many you got?
I had one, but now there's two.
Okay. I thought I had 50. Okay, never mind.
but New Orleans really needs to concentrate on their defense.
All right.
True.
They just signed Adrian Peterson. So not only do they have the top quarterback right now as far as passing yards active and rushing yards active, which is the first time since Terry Bradshaw and Franco Harris.
Right.
That two players on the same team that have the active passing yardage lead and rushing yardage. So I like it. So I think they got to go defense all the way through.
I'm sorry. Well, if I'm the New Orleans Saints, even though we signed Adrian Peterson as running back, I'll still say let's go with Dalvin Cook for insurance.
You got Mark Ingram back there still.
Well, what has he done lately? What has he done for New Orleans
as a
lately?
pro last year. He actually, I think that was his first 1,000-yard season.
Yay!
He was an All-Pro last season.
Eddie wants to replace him. Get him off the team. He's a bum. Okay. Eddie, that brings us to you.
All right, Cleveland. Cleveland with the 12th pick.
Cleveland with the 12th pick. I'm going to go with Reuben Foster from Alabama.
That's who I just chose.
He took him off the board.
Oh, dang.
You see?
You did the Minnesota
You should be hired by Cleveland.
Hassan Riddick. Hassan Riddick.
Hi, how you doing? Nice to meet you.
Hey, Eddie Parker.
Nice to meet you, Josh. Nice to meet you. Oh, man.
Okay.
Can we get a picture with that real quick,
Whoa.
please? You know, photo ops.
Oh, hey.
We flip the camera around.
Hey.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, see, yeah. Slick with. I slick with. Woo-wee.
Oh my goodness, the size of this thing.
You see it?
So when you're in the presence of a World Series ring, it's quite. I mean, it's the size of my face. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
at this. Look at this.
Oh, wow. This is the World Series ring of the Cubs. I can't believe I'm holding it.
And right now we're going to send it back over to Brent. Brent's going to be talking to Mark Wilson. He's got another guest with him. Brent?
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Mike Hoban and Mike Wilson, a couple of Mikes, members of the Retired Professional Football Players of Chicago branch of the NFLPA's Retired Players Association. And Mike, I guess you're both Mikes. It's not easy. Yeah. Mike Hoban, I want to start with you. You played for the Bears back in your playing days in the 70s. What was it like playing for arguably the most historic franchise in the NFL?
Well, considered I was born and raised in Chicago, right by Wrigley Field. I used to watch him play in Wrigley Field. Abe Gibron I started in rookie year was 74. Abe Gibron was still the head coach. Muggsy Hallis was the general manager. And then went on from there. So for me, it was huge. I mean, watching him play in Wrigley Field 3 blocks from my home, it was, and then they moved to Soldiers Field, which at the time was not the most pleasant place in the world, but it was the old Soldiers Field before they renovated the old Soldiers Field.
All right, other Mike, you played your playing days with the Cleveland Browns. They've been obviously the big subject tonight, have the #1 overall pick. Can you just talk a little bit about your playing days, what it was like for you?
Well, I was there when Belichick first year as a head coach. So I played with Belichick, Saban, quite a few characters, France from Iowa. So it was different. Coming in as an undrafted free agent for me was a little different situation. I'm a Chicago native, so I was always a Bears fan. I actually got fined because I wore Bears stuff under my practice stuff. So Belichick didn't like that, but I grew up that way. But it was a good time. I think we had a great team. It was a good experience for me. Right now, they're still trying to find their identity, which is kind of a struggle. And, they got a lot of picks. I kind of personally think they should trade the first pick if they're not going to take Myles Garrett and go get and build the team. But they got a lot of holes to fill, and that's kind of the tough part being a franchise team, and from a new team from that standpoint, I should say, a new franchise. But hopefully they'll make some right choices. They got a lot of picks to do things with, so it'll be fun.
We're about 10, 15 minutes away from draft time right now.
The guys on the radio that's coming down here, they were talking about maybe trading with Cleveland.
Oh, yeah.
Getting the first pick. Yeah.
So using Garrett. I think it wouldn't hurt Cleveland to drop. I mean, they got 12 picks, so they got 2 in the first round. Take another pick. If you get another pick in the first round, you can really build a team. I mean, they got some holes to fill. Any of these quarterbacks are not going to play right away. No. So go get your team and build some other holes and then get somebody you can play. Right. That's right. So that's what I think they should do personally. But we'll see. Myles Garrett, though, I wouldn't pass him up. He's a freak.
Agree with you 100%. And I just want to then ask, I always find it interesting, especially a long time ago. Mike, is there something that you really miss about playing in the NFL?
Well, let's put it this way. When I played in the NFL for 3 years, played up in Canada for a couple of years, and for a long time I'd have dreams about still playing. Now they're kind of like nightmares. I can't, I'm on the field and I can't move, but I always enjoyed the camaraderie. The guys here are great in our Chicago chapter. We have one of the best chapters in the country. We do pretty good.
Chapter of the Year winners in 2012. So just talking about the chapter a little bit more. Other Mike, I know you are a big proponent of what helped to set up this event. It's all donating and benefiting Lurie's Children's Hospital. You just want to talk about the event a little bit more. What made you want to set it up?
So I typically try to do a meeting in one of my hotels every year. So a couple years ago I was downtown. We had a meeting there. Last year we had a meeting here, and this year. So with the draft being today, I thought it'd be a good way to just kind of add some enthusiasm to our meeting. We have a captive audience here at the hotel, and we do a lot with Marriott, with Children's Miracle Network. So I figured with the draft day and having a full capacity of people in this hotel, I get the guys to come out, we sign some autographs, and kind of raise some money for our charity. We're all about the philanthropic work as well as a chapter, which is what it's all about at the end of the day. So it's a good way to kind of bring the two together. So
I know you guys do a lot of great things. We talked earlier with the president and director of public relations on some of the great things that you guys do. In your time in the chapter, has there been a favorite moment or a favorite event that stuck out to you guys personally? I can give you a few seconds to think. I can stall if you need it.
Actually, going down to Ronald McDonald House has always been a great event. Our golf outing we have in July is always a great time. We raised a lot of money for both our scholarship fund and for the equipment fund that we donate equipment to needy schools.
For me, that was one. We did one in Inglewood for Morgan Park for their youth football program. And we got to speak and asked me to speak, being from the South Side. I grew up in Roseland. And I really felt it was great because being on the South Side, most South Side kids don't get to see professional athletes. And then to see me and me coming out of that situation, I think they got a lot out of it. It touched me a little bit more because I saw a lot of parents that were just happy. And there's a lot of ladies out there with no fathers or husbands, and we were trying to give something back from that standpoint. So it was good.
And one last question for you guys before I let you go. Just kind of, you talked about helping the youth programs. What do you think of the kind of direction that football's going in terms of player safety? Is obviously a larger impact now. They're teaching kids different tackling techniques than I'm sure when you guys were playing, when things were a little bit more lenient rules-wise. What do you think about how they're kind of teaching the game now?
It's way ahead of where we were.
Right.
And the equipment's a lot better. The techniques are a lot better. What they're teaching the kids, concussion protocol is a lot better. And it's not just football. I mean, you can take it all the way down the line from soccer to wrestling to boxing to baseball even, But would I do it all over again? Absolutely. But, according to my wife, I'm not doing that well, but I think I'm fine. So
same here. I think, again, you look at some of the injuries that guys even before me that are dealing with, and even myself, I see a better longevity for some of these kids, and they're not dealing with some of the restraints that we have in our after years and other professional things. I really think some of the things need to be taught to the coaches, because that's really where it's about. Because you still have coaches out there that teach old methods, and that's going to hurt some kids. But having a son that played youth football about 7 years ago, that was a big thing for me. So I really want him to be taught the right way, and I want him to be able to live a life without injury. And I was lucky enough, and through college, high school, and a few years in the pros, to come out with a bad ankle. That's it. A little arthritis. I'm not like a lot of guys that had hip replacements and cracked necks and all that. So that may come down the line, though, Hobie, so we never know.
Hey, my whole right leg's titanium.
It's a bionic man over here.
Well, I want to thank you guys very much. It's a great event that you guys are putting on here. Enjoy the draft. It's Mike Hoban and Mike Wilson. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Back to you guys at the table.
Very much, Brett. Mike, Mark. We are here again at the pre-draft party, the Children's Hospital of Chicago and the Chicago Marriott Oak Brook. And gentlemen, we are 8 minutes away.
8 minutes away?
8 minutes away from a bunch of somebody's lives changing forever.
Oh yeah.
And before we went over to Brett, we were breaking down our own little mock draft.
That's
and
right.
The pick was on you, Ed.
Okay.
Cleveland, number 12.
Cleveland, number 12. I'm going to tell you who I'm going with, buddy. I'm going to tell you, watch this. Cleveland, since there's been so many defensive lines, we've been drafting so many defensive lines. And has anybody drafted a quarterback around here? Any one of you guys pick a quarterback? I say the best thing for Cleveland to do is get Ryan Ramsey.
The offensive tackle.
Yeah, Wisconsin.
I can see it. They could use some more beef up front. Joe Thomas is advancing in age.
Yes.
Who also has reported that he's already seeing signs of memory loss. So that might be a thing that would inspire that pick even further. So.
Yes. He's getting memory loss?
He's already suffering from memory loss.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure when they say hike, he knows who.
Oh, no. Joe Thomas, the Browns' current left tackle. Not Ramchick.
I was about to say.
Already? All right, so that brings up Arizona. Pick number 13.
Number 13 is Arizona.
I say that the Arizona Cardinals select Mitch Trubisky as a developmental quarterback behind Carson Palmer.
Nice.
He's got some tools.
That's
he just
right.
Doesn't have the seasoning.
Nice
who better to learn from?
It's nice that he fell to you in that situation. Obviously, the number one quarterback in this draft, Deshaun Watson, could possibly be that. Even Mahomes has really raised up his stats. I like it for the Cardinals. He backs up for a year. and then becomes the starter.
The reason it was him over Deshaun Watson is more along the lines of I think he fits their mold better.
Yeah.
Of what Bruce Arians wants as a quarterback.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I would say in this situation. Because my number one quarterback is Deshaun Watson. He's got the resume. He's got the talent. So I see that being the pick.
But here's what I want to ask you is how did Deshaun Watson stock drop? You know, because, see, some people are predicting him going 26.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he went from top 5 to 26.
I'll tell you what happened. After the season was over, there was a whole bunch of nothing going on before the draft tonight.
Okay.
And the problem is with all that time, they found every single reason to nitpick him. And, of course, every year you have that one come from out of nowhere candidate for the pick. So I think that the emergence, the talking up of Trubisky, and the intrigue of Trubisky is really what I think brought him to the forefront. We've seen Deshaun Watson, so I don't know if anybody necessarily has him ranked low. They just wonder if his ceiling is already close to being met. With Trubisky, you know, with 13 starts, he's only scratched what he can be.
Okay.
So, personally, I take the proven winner, the guy whose coach compared him to Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't expect this coach to go and rag on him, but to compare to somebody to Michael Jordan, knowing that it's going to get out and be in the media, I think is high praise. So
yeah, I agree with that also.
It's only because of time. If there was not much time, the draft would be Deshaun Watson and then everybody else.
That's right.
Because he just won, 2 years in a row he's in the national championship game, put up numbers against what's the closest thing in college to a pro-style defense. Yeah. But you're nitpicking now. So now his accuracy, well, he's a rookie. He's going to have accuracy issues.
Exactly.
Well, he threw interceptions. That's because his accuracy needs work. He hasn't been in a pro system with pro coaches, pro development people.
That's right.
So
even the great Peyton Manning in his rookie year, even though
he was terrible.
13, he was terrible.
He was terrible. It's self-admitted. He was admittedly terrible.
Yeah.
So, Cardinals, Mitchell Trubisky, brings us to the Philadelphia Eagles, who are hosting the official draft party tonight.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Pat?
Surprise pick here. Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook, running back, Florida State.
Yes.
Okay.
They need a third down back. A guy that can also take kickoff returns and punt returns. He fits the mold. So does the guy from Stanford. But from what I'm hearing, Philadelphia is higher on Dalvin Cook than they are on the kid from Stanford.
Do you think that is because of McCaffrey's sort of tweener status, and that some people are not really sure whether he's going to be a full-time running back or have to split most of his time out wide?
Yeah.
That's
plus
a good
Dalvin
pick.
Cook has the size and the thing as their third down back for the last few years.
If
And they've
he
been
was
in love with
6'1",
him.
220,
Right.
he'd be a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
Dalvin Cook's got ability and he's explosive. You want that home run hitter. I like the pick. It's a very solid pick.
Yeah.
All right, brings us to pick number 15.
Look
Look how it worked out.
Yes,
Indianapolis Colts. We're going to let the resident Colt fan.
Yes. Well, I say this. Even though we need an offensive line, we do. But we need to brush up the defense. We need to attack the running game. So my pick is going with Malik McDowell from Michigan State.
That's another solid pick. Not flashy. I think you're going to have a lot of fans in Indianapolis upset about
Forget
that.
them fans. I mean, I care. But at the same time, they need if they want to win games, they got to stop the running game.
Fair enough. Pick number 16, Baltimore Ravens. We're going to go rapid fire right quick. Pick number 16 is that? Oh, that's on me.
You.
Yes.
Okay, pick number 16, Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to have to go ahead and give them Christian McCaffrey because their backfield is not dynamic. Solid, unspectacular. They need a dynamic runner. Christian McCaffrey fits that role, and he's versatile.
Yeah.
I like it. I would have gone wide receiver there for them.
That's right.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I like
Who says
it.
I didn't?
Yeah. 17, Hassan Reddick
Okay.
for Washington.
Okay.
Young man out of
18,
Temple.
Tennessee Titans.
Caleb Brantley.
Oh, okay. 19, I'm going to say David Njoku out of Miami. They needed that tight end to get down the seams for Jameis.
Okay.
20,
Cam Robinson for Denver.
Cam Robinson.
Offensive tackle, I like the pick. Pro-style system, plays with his hand in the dirt. I like it.
They need to protect their quarterback.
Pick number 21.
Number 21, John Ross, wide receiver, Washington.
Okay. Pick number 22. I'm going to go with, where is he? Corey Davis, Western Michigan.
Corey Davis.
Nice.
Another big body receiver. somebody that they need to help with Jarvis Landry and Kenny Stills on the outside.
23 for the Giants, Caleb Brantley.
Caleb Brantley. Well,
wow, you went deep with that one. Okay, I like it. I like it.
He's not that deep. He's a defensive tackle from Florida.
24 for the Las Vegas Raiders, Marlon Humphrey.
Yeah, they definitely need to shore up that secondary, so I can't argue with that pick one bit. Not one bit.
Yep.
And all right, we're going to wrap it up and send it back to the studio right now. The draft is about to start. Thank you for joining us at the Children's Hospital of Chicago and Chicago Marriott Oak Brook pre-draft party. For Patrick Delaney and Eddie Parker, I'm Joshua Buckhalter. Enjoy the draft.